Sasic. I'm with Next Best Picture. Hikari, hello. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy to have already pleased you with my backdrop.
God, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best.
Good, good. Always happy to make you smile a little bit. Thank you so very much for your time today. So happy to speak with you about this film. When I had a chance to see it at Toronto, I instantly felt the love that you have for Japan, for Tokyo, and I wanted to ask, are there any either scenes or images or just ways of life that you were able to sprinkle into this film that, were just kind of for you, just those things that you really love about Japan and Tokyo that are, just little things that make you happy?
Wow, my goodness, that's a hard question, Emma. Obviously, like, Cherry Blossom is always that I love that season, and I wanted to be that movie scene to be at the end of this, the movie, just have the most profound moment with connecting with Philip and little Mia. So that's one of my favorite. I love the crazy Tokyo. I love the train scene because it's so funny how Brendan's just like kind of like squeeze in to be, to be not be seen, which is very difficult because he's so big.
Yes.
And the train is something, a story that if you go to Tokyo, train is everywhere, transportation, that's how connect people, right? And this really is about connections and really connecting the dot and really having this intimate moment with it, and knowing that we're not alone, right? So for me, even just B-rolls, just even though there's no characters in it, those are pictures that I really selected because that shows us, that's where we live. One shot, just a building, but there's tens of thousands of people there. And that's really it's our story. So even those shots I really enjoy. And all the little train going to building into the through.
I picked up on a lot of those scenes of just everyday life happening, and it you could just feel so much warmth and love from your direction and your cues with that. So I'm glad that you were able to put a lot of that in there.
And then the shrine, obviously, I love the countryside and the mountain, and
so beautiful. So such a beautiful country. And I also really love this very unique way that you get to not only show a side of Japanese culture, but of course discussing mental health, which is a very difficult topic for the nation as a whole. It's very taboo, and this is quite a unique way to talk about it, other than sitting down two characters to talk about their feelings and everything. I guess I would love to know, are you hoping that maybe there is a bit more discussion surrounding mental health when it comes to this film and Japan as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the reason why I make movie like this, or especially for this rental family, is because, first of all, the business exists because, in Japan, in our culture, is a little bit more, it's not as accessible for people with mental illness to talk to a therapist through internet even. You have to meet that person in person, have the meeting. If you were to use insurance, things like that. And then, when you're feeling a certain way, sometimes you don't want to meet these people, right? So rather than, and then also knowing that going to the therapist is perhaps them making them feel like, oh, I do have an issue. And perhaps maybe it's not even the issue, but those businesses just there because they can just answer anything you need. You ask you questions, like they're just there to talk to you, just be there to be the companion, right? And perhaps that's all we may need. And then also I really want people to know that, don't, when you're stuck and when you're feeling a certain way, you just always feel this is your world. But really, you just take the one step, go up the ladder, see the world from a different perspective, because your world is much bigger than you think, and then the people are there to support you. You just have to, also you have to make the effort to reach out. You know what I'm saying? And that whether it's a professional or non-professional, like for example, this occasion, it doesn't matter, the people you feel connected, you don't have to rely on your family that who are related. Your best friend becomes your family, your coworker becomes your family, and those are the people who's going to be there for you. So just don't be afraid to make that first step, right? So that was kind of my message. And look what happened with Philip. Philip is somebody who's just like don't know what to do. He's like all alone, but then as he makes mistakes and he's just learning and willing to try something new, he discovers all this new friendship and they become a found family. And then I really believe in that. So I really hope that, people, if you're feeling a certain way, they just take that one first step.
Yes, and I think you do quite a wonderful job of showing, maybe for a Western audience member, they might think, you can rent people to do that. That sounds so silly. But there is so much more to that, whether it's the young woman who is getting married, and it really is, it's because she cannot fully be herself. There are so many wonderful examples of just how vital something such as this is in a country where, not like in other Western countries, where you do have a lot of more resources and chances to speak to people. So I really commend you for doing that and talking about a very important topic.
No, thank you for noticing. That's just
yes,
so much to me. Yeah,
of course.
The community is still very difficult, to have the rights, right? They can still get married. Living even though they live in the same house for 20, 30 years. If one person dies, the other person doesn't still count as significant to the other. That got to change, So for me, having a couple was to show the governments or the people in Japan or people around the world who's against or who doesn't understand, then we exist. We're here.
Yeah.
Same as we want the happiness. Why can't we have it? Let's have that understanding.
Yes.
Just through the eyes of Philip. And I hope people, have a little bit of a more openness to that idea.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I did want to ask you about this wonderful cast that you have. You have Brendan, you have Mari, you have Takehiro, just so many wonderful people. Either how you came to find this beautiful found family in this film, or just what it was like working with them on set. I'd love to hear a little bit of those insides.
Absolutely. So it was important for me to find out Brendan, Philip, and then I found Philip. And from there, it was, we're lucky enough, we got a lot of, great actors like Mari, Takehiro, and even Akira, who's a legendary actor, coming to audition for us. And it was such a blessing. And the depths of every characters that they brought. And I like to do a lot of even takes auditions and just keep doing. And the chemistry they had once they got into the second stage and callback. I had Brendan to read with, Shannon, to Mari and Takehiro. And it was just so beautiful to witness, and the depth that I was able to see, the chemistry that I was able to see, even with it through video. I just knew that I usually go with my instinct too. So I just with my gut. And I was like, I think they are just a perfect, and who they are as a person. Obviously, Brendan, to Mari's character, Mari, who's plays Aiko. She's a very strong woman. She was a journalist. She knows a lot, and she studies law before she comes in. And it was important for her to learn about Aiko and her backstory. So we had a whole story laid out for her so that she can come in and just take it in, and just go with as if she became Aiko. And it was really amazing that they did what they did. So
it's wonderful to see everyone on this set, and just such a wonderful film. Hikari, thank you so very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
See you. I hope to see you someday.
I hope so too. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giovanni Lago from the Next Best Picture podcast, and today I am joined by one of the stars of Rental Family, Akira Emoto. Akira, thank you so much for joining me today.
Emoto Akira desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Nice to meet you. I'm Akira Emoto.
I would love to talk about Rental Family and what allured you to the project. You're an incredibly prolific actor. Your careers span decades. What was it about the role that you found yourself now as an artist intrigued by it? Was it Hikari's vision for it? Or was it the words on the page? Was it the almost meta-like aspect of playing someone who is an actor? I'm curious what stuck out to you the most.
まず光監督と会いまして、 非常に、光監督の元気良さに触発されました。それとやっぱりこの映画は、まあ、人間の中にある普遍的な、孤独
So
を
first
題
I
材にしてい
did
ると
meet
思うんですけど、
Hikari, and she's an extremely energetic person
孤独
who
ってい
was so
う
stimulating
も
to
のの
meet
中
her.
にある
And I think that this film
温
is
かさ
about
とか
this
優しさ
unchanging
とい
human
うも
aspect
の
of
を
loneliness.
う
And
ん
I think within that
まあ
loneliness, there's
描いて
also
い
kind
る
of
わけで
this
はない、
warmth and kindness
え
that seeps through. And that's what I felt when I read the script.
You know, it's funny you mention Hikari's energy because I think within your character, there's such a liveliness that very much is effortlessly brought out by you as a performer and also rubs into Brendan's character. And these are just two men of completely different backgrounds, different ways of life, how they see the world, and just their relationship over the time, it had to be a very fascinating dichotomy to explore these two men bond together.
ブレンダンはとても大きい人です。でもクジラほど大きくはありませんが、人間的に非常に素敵な方で、まあ最初はまあ演技をしたまあ、お芝居をさせていただいたんですけども、その時になんていうかな、非常になんかブレンダンの声仕草に
So
なん
Brendan
かとて
is a
も
very
深いものを
large
感じました
human,
ね。
larger than life,
演技に
maybe
まず
not
魅
as
了され
large
まし
as a
た。それ
whale.
と
He's a really
なんだろう
lovely
な、
human being. At
目を見
first,
て
when we started acting together,
ま
I
あ僕
noticed
が勝手
a
に
real
思う
depth
こ
to
とで
his
すけど、
voice and his
お
gestures and
互い
everything
に
that he does.
感じ合うこ
And
とが
so
で
his
きた。役
acting
者として
was
の
very appealing to
役者
me.
としての
And when our eyes
ア
met,
ス
when
ペ
we
ク
looked
ト
into each
なん
other's
か
eyes, I felt that
非
we
常に
connected deeply and
素晴ら
had
しいも
this
のを感じまし
deep
た。
mutual
それで
respect
普段のブレンダン
as
っていうのは非
actors and as
常に
people. And
ブレン
um,
ダン自身が
pretty
非
much
常に素
all
敵
the time he's
う
extremely
ん
charming,
素敵
and
ながら
that was,
に
yeah,
魅
he
了され
totally
ました。
charmed me as well.
That charm works, and that very, how you describe tender nature that Brendan has been associated with really bleeds into what I think is one of the more pivotal scenes of the film, with you two in the forest looking at the photographs. And it's the emotional anchor of the film. I think everything Hikari is trying to speak to the audience is really spelled out perfectly in that moment. What was it like in the forest with these massive trees and, working with Brendan and Hikari, bringing that moment to life?
いやー、あそこはある意味なんか、まあ僕の中のパートで言えばクライマックスだと思うんですけども、菊尾という人物は、まあ、何かに戻りたかったんでしょうね。まあ俳優という仕事をしていって、それでも何か足りないものがある。それはやっぱり、まあ、戻らなくちゃいけないっていうことだったのかな。で、まあ、ブレンダンという、まあ、役名は何でしたっけ？ブレンダンじゃない。まあ、ブレンダンという人に出会って、フィリップと出会って、なんか、この人ならと思ったんでしょうね、気候は。それで一緒に
So
自分のふる
I
さとに
believe
帰っ
that
て
scene is really like the
行く
climax for my part
行けば
of Kikuo.
帰っ
He really
ふ
wanted
る
to
さ
go
とに帰っ
back.
ていけば
He
何か
was
に
an
帰る。
actor
それ
all of
は
his life, but
自分
he
がずっと
was
思ってた
lacking
こ
something
とではあ
even
ります
within
け
that
ども、それ
career,
は
and
フィ
he
リッ
had to go back.
プ
And
が出て
Brendan,
くるこ
who
とによっ
plays
て、
Philip,
その夢
he's the
が
one
具現化し
that
た
helps him get there.
で
And
しょう。
when he
うーん、
when he went
なんか
home,
フィリッ
if he
プが
gets home, then maybe he can meet this
気候
person that he's
を
always been
助け
trying
て
to
くれ
see.
たんですね。
And so
で、その時
he'd
は
always
僕は
imagined it, but it wasn't until he met Philip that that
それ
dream
を
was
大きく優
actualized.
しく
And really,
止めてく
he
れる
saves Kikuo. So that tree
まあ、
scene, I was really
こう
grateful
コー
to
トで
be
やる
there
と
and
とても
held sort of
ブレン
by
ダンが
Brendan's
そういう
bigness, his kindness,
非常にありがたかった
in that moment.
It's a very touching scene for what I think is an incredibly moving performance. Ahira, thank you so much for your time. This was a lovely discussion.
非常に感動するシーンでした。
Thank you.
時間をありがとうございます。
Thank you.
Thank you.